Walking down the aisle, I never expected this day to come. I've always been an adventurous child with no sense of backing down from what I wanted. All my mind can focus on at this time is what led me to this moment, a new chapter of my life. I was on the phone with Kuromi when my mom had called me. I told Kuromi I'd be right back before I headed down the steps. I paused slightly, taking a moment to process how suspiciously excited my parents looked. The suspicious expression on their faces made my heart rate pick up a bit. This couldn't be good. They were never sitting on the couch together looking like this. "Kitty, we have someone we want you to meet. This is Daichi," said my mom. "We hope you two can become well acquainted in time for the wedding," said my dad.
I met my future husband. I'm not too excited about it, though. I never wanted to marry anybody. Why can't I just live my life alone, having fun with my friends? Oh my god, don't even get me started on how our marriage is set to happen in 8 months. They just sprung this up on me with no warning, and now I must spend the next few months praying for my marriage. I guess I'll just have to accept my fate now. Hopefully my parents picked out a good enough suitor for me. I really didn't get to speak to him much. I heavily doubt that, though. Growing up with my parents was not the best experience at all. They thought throwing money and gifts at me would keep my mouth shut, so I don't have much of a bond with them now. I'm not even trying to sound spoiled or anything. I know I had it better than most people. It's not every day people are born into one of the most prestigious families in Japan. Hell, my closest friend Simuro had a rough childhood growing up, so every so often I try to treat them to a nice day out. But I still feel like my feelings are valid. Anyway, I hate this, I hate him, I never want to marry Dachi, but I guess that is out of my control now. It's the next day, and I can already hear the chatter outside my door. Dachi is back again. After we had talked yesterday, I ran upstairs to tell my friends what my parents had done. As expected, most of them were shocked. But of course, Kuromi was demanding I send a picture of Dachi so they can get a good look at my future husband. I declined, of course, but I'll guess I'll take a photo for them today. I went downstairs after freshening up to see my mother and Dachi chopping it up. However, as soon as my feet hit the last step, all eyes were on me. I walked to the couch and sat down on the ottoman and started talking. I have already thought this over, and I will not take no for an answer. Before I wed off to him, I will travel the world, I stated calmly and confidently. What? They all exclaimed. I said what I said. I'm going to travel the world before my marriage ceremony. Don't worry. I will come back soon enough to prepare for the festivities, I spoke. Wait, don't you want to think about this a bit before you do anything you might regret? My mother proclaimed. No. My flight's already booked. I have started the packing process. I am leaving later tonight, and I won't be back for another 4 or 5 months, I exclaimed while getting up to return to my room. I didn't hear anything they might have said after I slammed my door and blasted my music.
Finally, I reached the airport, ready for my flight, away from my parents and away from Daichi. Ugh, how I wish I could be on this trip for my whole life, so I could ignore all of them for longer. The airport was so big and beautiful. They even had a showcase of my favorite car, which was so cool to see. I went over to the food court and ordered some sushi and yakisoba. I will be indulging in all the food I want this trip, and it starts now. Plus, airplane food is gross, so I might as well fill myself up a bit. After ordering, I went over to my gate and enjoyed my food. I didn't want to eat in the food court because sometimes they do random check-ins for carry-on bags. As I sat and savored my meal, I looked around to see who was on my flight, an old habit of mine, to get an idea of who I might end up sitting next to. A couple of kids, mostly teens, no babies, a bunch of youngsters like me, I thought to myself. Nice, I could even make some new friends. Then I saw someone. I couldn't really see their face because they had a mask on and were wearing a cap and hoodie, but they looked really familiar. I realized I might have been staring hard, so I looked away before they thought I was being rude, and continued to eat my food. Soon enough, I forgot about the masked mystery man. After we boarded and I found my seat, I settled in nicely. I texted Cinnamon Roll, posted a few cute pics, and then started looking for a movie to watch. Everything was just perfect. Then, the person seated next to me arrived. I realized it was the same familiar person I had seen before. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the pilot's voice boomed over the speaker. And then we took off in the air. Malaysia, here I come. I thought of talking to the person sitting next to me, figure out who they were. Hello, my name is Hello Kitty. I'm on my way to Malaysia. Where's your destination? Hi, I'm going to Malaysia too, he replied. Oh, sweet. So we'll be on the same connecting flight in Shanghai, huh? Yeah. Say, have you heard of the Kenyer Lake? They say it's a great destination to see some Asian elephants. I want to go there. Oh, that's nice, he said. We got to talking, and it turned out we had a lot in common. Then I remembered something. Hey, I never asked your name. You look really familiar. He got quiet. Then he took his mask off and revealed himself. I couldn't believe my eyes. Diachi, what are you doing here? I said sternly. Great. Now I have to spend my whole trip, the trip where I was supposed to get away and enjoy myself, with him. Mom and Dad, how could you? I wish I could have jumped out of that plane window. This is just great. The one person I wanted to avoid, I end up running into. How amazing.
It was actually such a blast traveling the world with my soon-to-be husband. Even though my parents were living when we got back after I had disobeyed their rules, this trip was the most fun I've had ever since hearing about this marriage. After getting to know Daichi, he wasn't all that bad. A gentleman for sure, and he was also easy on the eyes. I never thought I'd say something like that about him, but obviously time changed how I saw him. When I think back on our trip to the Great Wall of China, I don't think I've ever had such heartfelt conversations with someone I truly disliked so much before. We of course had our moments, but we got to know each other so well over this trip. I really see myself being with Daichi. It honestly hurts my soul deep down to have fallen victim to what my parents wanted, but whatever. This is what I wanted. Marriage on my terms, how I wanted, and when I wanted.
You're glowing, my mom said. I couldn't help but smile as I saw my reflection. My hair was up with a flower, my dress was white and flowy, and my shoes were divine. Everything was perfect. I was ready for marriage. I was ready for my new life to start. Soon, the orchestra began to play, and I began to walk. I looked at Dutchy. He was smiling so wide as tears flowed out. By the time I reached him, I was crying as well. We joined hands as we began our vows. As we stared into each other's eyes, I felt everyone else fall away. Finally, with such certainty, he said, I do. It was just me and him ready to take on life. Together.